So this is my Gibson Murphy Lab 1958 Junior Double Cut Les Paul TV model. The TV model part is to do with the colour, and I've heard a couple of reasons as to why. One of them is that when TV was black and white, that this colour would show up more contrasty, I guess, in that black and white. I can't actually remember the other reason. But either way, I think this is a gorgeous guitar. When I first saw it, I thought that was a bit fluorescent, sort of looking like brighter than any of the other junior TV models that I've seen personally. I've seen a few real ones as well at guitar shows. It turns out this is based on an actual original that came out of the factory like that. And Coda guitars here actually are specifically for this to be made. As to how I bought this guitar, well, I was at Coda trading some stuff. So I was there on a sort of mission to see what they had because they'd given me some good deals to trade some things in, and I wanted to see what they had. So I was walking around the shop, and it's the same day that I bought those two MB guitars, Strats, if you remember back that far, maybe 6 weeks ago. And I was walking around the shop with my mate Stuart, who should really be part of the channel. I mention him every video. That's Stuart of Sun Bear Pickups. He's with me there. And I saw this and I said to him, that's a spec I quite like, which is interesting because a year ago or so I'd said to him the ugliest guitar on the planet is a Double Cut Junior. Then I went to the guitar show and saw a guy there, Bob, who has an amazing collection, and he has a couple of originals. And when I saw it in person and then held it, I thought this looks way better in person than it does in pictures. Some guitars are like that. So fast forward to being at Coda, and I looked at it and I thought, that's really nice. But I wasn't there to buy a Junior. I'd only recently sold my vintage 1956 Junior, not double cut, but like normal Junior. And then, I'd thought maybe I'm done with Juniors, they just don't suit me. So I said that to Stuart, that how it looked really cool, and I walked past it. A minute later I hear James, you might want to come back and look at it properly. And he'd taken it off the wall and he just strummed it once. And being, he works in the industry, he works as a pickup maker, and he deals with so many guitars that he has a sixth sense really to figure out from one or two strums what a guitar is like. So I'm like, okay, he hasn't said that to me many times in the quite a few times we've looked at guitars together. So I picked it up and it had that thing instantly. You hold the neck, you strum the 6 strings, and you feel this connection, tightness, vibration. The strings are like fully connected to you when you hold the wood. And I felt that in a few guitars, but not all guitars. Not even all great guitars, I would say, that I've had have had this very specific thing. And it seems to me that Juniors maybe even have a higher rate of being great because so many people talk about great Juniors that they come across. So for regular viewers of my channel who are interested in sort of what I'm doing, this is my third favourite guitar. And that's something I've only discovered since I started recording this, because I thought I have quite a few guitars that I love, and upon thinking about this morning, I thought if if I had to run out of the house and I could carry three guitars or five guitars, what would I carry? Or if I had to do a fire sale, something came up in life that I had to sell loads of stuff, what would I keep? And it was Les Paul Custom, Dale Wilson Strat, then this, and then the new red telly from the Dale Wilson telly that I got yesterday, which I haven't shown on the channel yet, and the Collings that I bought at Peach, and then the order goes down and down and down like that. This guitar came third. I couldn't believe it myself, but when you just say to yourself, I'm going to be honest, this is how I feel. Like, I could replace that telly, probably. I could find another 335, but this guitar fits so well in my hand and is so comfortable and feels so good to play and does so much of a thing that none of my other guitars do, that I would have to grab this third. And let me explain sort of what it does that I'm so in love with. Okay, so here's a few things I love about this guitar. So I don't know the exact weight of it, but it's certainly not a heavy guitar at all. It's on the light side. It's not so extremely light that it feels unnatural. It's just one of those that you pick up and it has no added weight that makes you think, oh, it's slightly heavy. That lightness and heaviness to me don't indicate better or worse guitar, especially since my Les Paul Custom weighs 10 pounds 11 ounces, but is still so vibrant and lively. It does sometimes tell you sort of what sort of frequencies it can come out. I do find the lighter guitars may be more likely to have that upper mid thing, which this does have. And in my other guitars, I've so constantly looked for things that are more deep sounding or lower mid sounding, because I don't often play in the mix. That's what my ear wants to hear. Recently, I've had a bit of a change of heart and starting to look for things that fit better in the mix. And straight away when I play this, it feels like it does. It naturally wants to go to that sort of more blues rock as well. I think of people like Jared James Nichols when I'm playing this. If I put the fuzz on with this, it would have that similar sort of sound. And that's the next thing, the P90s. Now, this is the stock P90. I'm actually going to be trying a vintage early mid-50s one soon and deciding which one I prefer in here. I couldn't tell you exactly which one I'll prefer. I'm sure the old one will sound a bit more vibey and a bit more, authentic or whatever. But this pickup's actually pretty good in this guitar. It's all I know in this guitar, and I've been happy with it so far. But I'm excited to try. I would want to age up that cover a bit more though. The other thing is I do like the aging on here. This is Murphy Lab. It must be light aged or ultra light aged. I'll see if I can get some close-ups of. It's always hard on a guitar of this color to show you the lacquer checking. And then, we have a little bit of where, the edges are a bit dinged up. So it just feels played in a bit. It doesn't feel so pristine that you're worried about it. Little things like that. And you can see the lacquer checking a bit more there. So I really like that. The next thing I really like is the neck shape. And I don't always get on with the sort of late 50s big Gibson necks. It depends. A lot of people have said that 58 necks on normal Les Pauls are really comfortable. I've not actually played a 58 reissue or a real 58. This is incredibly comfortable. Yeah, it's a bit baseball batty, but it just doesn't have any particular shape jutting out at the back. The shoulders aren't too big, but they just, from the way I play on this guitar, which is less Hendrixy than I play on other guitars, I may not have my thumb over quite as much because I'm playing slightly differently. It just feels great. I mean, I'm not one for like loving, natural wood necessarily on a guitar, but I do love TV models, the way that the grain shows up like this. And I think this is just a particularly sort of nice piece, just the overall thing. And you see it with a lot of these TV models because of the way they're done. The grain looks really cool. And they sort of, in real life and the real ones that I've seen, there's a sort of artistic quality to them. And the tortoiseshell. I mean, is there a more perfect pairing? Now, I've got a Kiss My Strings bridge that I'm going to try on here. I'll do that in another video. Kiss My Strings make really high quality bridges out of some sort of material that's supposed to be the original thing. I'll talk about it in that video. Haven't tried that yet. I'll do the pickup first so we know what it is like with this, then I'll change the bridge. Yeah, it's just a classic. I really love playing it. And here's the main point. It gives me something that nothing else does in my collection. It gives me a feeling and a liberty to play with a lot more attitude. I don't know why. It just does. The sound coming out of it is gritty. It's that upper mid pushed thing. It's more rock influenced and blues rock, and it's less smooth, and I love it. I bloody love it. With the amp today, I pushed the mids up, which I don't normally do, and I've got the gain nearly on full. And then I just used the Analog Man delay, which I often use. It just adds, if you watch my video with the Castadosa Conchas baritone from a few days ago, when I had the big fuzz and everything and the slide playing, the Analog Man delay really made a difference, which you saw in that video. And then for the first time, I've never done this before, I put the gain of this Jan Ray on absolute full and the volume quite low. That's the bass pulled down a bit and the treble pulled up a bit. And I just think I loved it. Really, really, feels natural, like an overdriven amp, that sort of pedal. A lot of people talk online about how Vemuram's overpriced. It's just, similar to another pedal, and it's like whatever. I've seen this discussion ad nauseum on the internet. I'd love to ask so many of these people if they've played one of these, because I don't think a lot of them have. If you have played it and you don't like it, then fine. But there's a lot of that on the internet, with whether it's guitars, cars, any subject. Loads of people talking about it who've never actually sat in a XYZ car or played XYZ amp or guitar or pedal. It's fine to have an opinion, but to have such strong opinions about something you've not even touched, experienced, played, I find interesting. It's one of the reasons why I do this channel. I don't sit in front of the camera like some certain YouTubers and just talk about drama and talk about things I don't like. I just want to show you things that I think are great. This is one of them. So look, that's all I've got to say on this. This is like a simple, here's this guitar, here's what I like about it. And I think I'm going to be doing this about quite a few guitars, these 10 to 15 minute long videos, because I've been so amp focused on the channel recently. And I've sort of boiled down my amp journey now. And I'll do a final video about my amps and what I love playing the most. But it's back to looking at the guitars a bit more closely like this. So there you go, that's my 58 Junior double cut TV model, and I've had quite a few people seeing it in the background, or I played it in a couple of clips in videos so far, and just asking me, what is that, and are you going to do a video? So there you go, I hope that's been interesting. And as I said, the red telly turned up yesterday, the one that I've been talking about recently from Peach, and I've made a very long video about the culmination of my Peach trip, the guitars I bought, what I still think about them, and showing you that. But I haven't finished that video, and I'm now going away for 10 days. So unfortunately that won't come out in this next 2 or 3 weeks. It's going to take me another week when I get back to finish that. I have got coming up after this a review of the Swart Antares Master Amp, which I borrowed from Coda. So that's a really cool little combo amp, sort of reminiscent of old Gibsons, and yet it's got its own thing as well. So I hope you find that interesting as well. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, you know, all that stuff. Cheers.